Okay, here we are on the Titans route again, and there's a lot I haven't covered. It's not the least bit surprising. I'm not overly fond of the Titans. There's still Yazan's route to do in the One-Year War, but we'll get back to that. My most recent two runs, and I mean, this was recorded yesterday at time of airing. My last several character routes were in the Grips conflict, which was a change of pace, because I've been running so much Xeon One-Year War and, the White Base crew from the One-Year War, so let's stick with the Grips conflict for a while and get some of that done. Oh boy, but where to start? I suppose I could operate the Psycho Gundam. Just for a spell. I mean, theoretically, this will have a lives route, but this is not far removed from working with the Big Zam. And the big problem with the Psycho Gundam, the Mark 1, is that you only get the beam barrier, apart from when you're blocking if you're in the mobile armor mode. But you will not hit anything with the scattering beam cannon. So I have to stay in mobile suit mode. Like, that's what makes the Psycho Gundam Mark II so cheap, is that you have no trade-off when you go into the mobile armor mode, because you can still fire shots which are not random and are actually directed. Oh, how did that connect with nothing? How did that connect with oh, fine. Hey, team killing is also a Psycho Gundam Mark II thing. Or a Psycho Gundam thing. Not the first time I've gotten my names mixed up in this and other LPs I've done. It won't be the last. I store much information in my brain. Sometimes it gets a little garbled. Yeah, I'm not relying on the scattering beam cannon. You can't hit the broadside of a battleship. Apparently I can't hit the broadside of a Gundam even with the direct attack. What? Does that... Okay. Oh god, the melee is terrible. At least Psycho Gundam Mark II has the remote hands and the freaking beam sabers. This is terrible. Don't get me wrong, I like the design. I like how much of a throwback it is, but this thing handles like I'm walking through molasses. Is that a reference people even get anymore? I mean, how many people actually eat molasses or season with molasses? That's not really a thing anymore. It wasn't a thing when I was coming up, it was just still part of the lexicon. Oh, yeah, just dodge it. There we go. I'm gonna need to upgrade the Psycho Gundam. This giant thing which can hurl another mobile suit around like it's a deluxe toy. And I am just super vulnerable. This is why I didn't run Big Zam with Dozel. I mean, granted there, you really have nothing that can be deployed in a direct fire role and responds quickly, because the main cannon, of course, can fire specifically at a target, but it's got a very narrow cone, and that warm-up makes it almost impossible to hit with it.
I'm coming back now.
But with this thing, it's slow, it's unresponsive, it is like, you can't dodge with it, obviously, you can just block. Yeah, we're gonna have to upgrade it immediately, and it costs as much as a top-tier machine. That's 150,000 battle point. This is part of the reason to run the AUG first, because you have more hero characters that will survive later. Longer survival means more battle points, means you can upgrade the characters who are going to die halfway through the series. And I know I've been over this already, I'm just reiterating. Or at least I think I've been over this already. Ow! be pretty easy to take out Quattro, but he's not actually bothering with me, right? I can't even see when he's shooting at me to effectively...
Don't get in my way.
You're in front of me, you cock bastard!
Running away, Camille.
It wasn't this slow in the actual show. I know what they were doing. They were trying to balance it. They may have gone a little too hard in the opposite direction.
Why are you in front of me?
Oh boy.
I'm here. Open the cockpit. You have to get out of the Psycho Gundam. Hurry. Die, Camille.
And I'm just taking all the hits, because of course I would. And he escaped.
They're only won't forgive anybody who gets in my way.
Don't get in my way.
I might get Quattro. No promises. There we go.
I'm completely out of
Gave him the boot. Yeah, it's got a big Zam-sized turning radius as well. God, I could empty the scattering beam cannon and not hit anything.
Just burn everything! I'm coming back now.
Now, it wasn't really for that battle. Yeah, an evasion rate of 0%, because of course it would be. It's not really for that battle that I made the upgrades, because now that she lives... Oh, well, I could use the bound dock. Actually, I'm going to have to use the bound dock. Okay, we'll come back to... So basically, she's fulfilling Rosamia's role now. She's now the one infiltrating the ship. Yeah, they made Psycho Gundam ground use only, which... I'm not sure if that's canon. I mean, why wouldn't it be able to operate? Hell, it operates in space in this game! On Luna 2, it operates in space, so why is Psycho Gundam Mark 1 ground only? Oh, it's like Psycho Gundam got nerfed, and Psycho Gundam Mark 2 is just god tier. It's not cool. It's not okay.
Harassme launching.
Sarah's route, I'll get to that at some point. Hell, I'll get to that next. I kind of want to cheese the fights with the grapple attack. Oh, hello.
Roger that. What are you doing? Withdrawing.
I told you right from the beginning that I act as I saw fit.
Hello, Emma.
Camille coming out?
You'll have been the last one that I ran at this time of airing, although for me, you're, two whole other character routes after. Okay, and the shield just absorbed that. And Zeta's in the field, so we gotta be extra careful. Is she even... Yeah, right at what I'm about to ask, is she actually contributing or just flying around being distracting? I'd take a hit. Oh god, I do not like the Bound Dock's beam rifle. Is she... Yeah, no, she is sort of just circling the arena. Ow! You know, because the Bound Dock's basic beam attack is so weak, it can't even knock them into a stun state.
Zeta is the enemy you must defeat.
Here's what I don't get about Gates, is that, so he's another Cyber-Newtype, another one from, like, I think I erroneously referred to the thing with, Lala as the Flanagan Institute, because the Flanagan Institute was the Xeon thing, even though these are all private institutes, not unlike Anaheim, so they're not necessarily faction-specific. But it was the, what, Augusta Labs? Where the Federation was doing its early stuff? Well, Augusta and the Rosamia Institute. I mean, it's all over the place.
I'm coming back
Which is also a bit strange when you think about it, because a lot of mobile suit development is just Anaheim. It's just Anaheim. And those are being used a lot. But then you have these new types, which are much scarcer on the ground. And there's like 5 different institutions for studying them. That makes sense. Now, I'm not going to upgrade this because it is super possible to just cheese this. Just transform and use the R1 attack constantly, which is what I'm going to do.
Don't fight! Stop fighting like this, Four!
So the Zeta Gundam's here.
Stop, Four! Can't you see?
Still going to time it when they're not moving as much.
Were you created to make me suffer even more?
Four, come out!
Won't let anyone get in my way. Those who do will.
Stop!
Yeah, we'll have a much easier time. Well, actually, no, because apparently this isn't a reinforcement gauge thing. We need to blow Camille up.
My memories.
That might be a little difficult. Purely because it's just not connecting the attacks. Nothing is hitting.
Be strong!
Because you got in my way.
You!
So he's not even packing the big beam gun, which means he doesn't even have rockets. And here's the first problem we run into, is that I have run down my targeted beams. I am down to the scattering beam gun unless I want to transform. And I really don't want to transform, because I didn't upgrade this thing. And I'm probably going to have to. So 300,000 for 4's route. Like, God, why? Can't turn at all. Wow, did I just get melee comboed and lose almost a sixth of my health? It looks like that's what happened. Oh god, this Nemo's getting up my butt.
How I was hit.
Oh, that was a good hit. I'm faring better than he is. Honestly, I could just wait for the thing to recharge. Not risk leaving mobile armor mode. Gonna take forever though. Gonna be like any other mobile armor fight where you just spend half the time just flying around the arena like an absolute ape. Okay, time it, time it, time it, time it. I couldn't fire it when I needed to. Fantastic. At least the bits reflect some of the scattering beam shots at the target. Okay, this is insufferable.
Be strong!
Fire. How did none of that connect? None of that hit the target. And I don't even have a scattering beam gun anymore. I'm completely depleted.
He's good. You!
An enemy.
Oh, come! The Barzam hit him and knocked him out of my attack, which would have done so much more damage. This is gonna be like half the duration of the 4 route right here. Just this absolute bullshit. God, why? Well, one of those hit him, I think. Nope, I didn't get a hit in the combat information. Oh, and I got melee, and I lost another big chunk of my health. Which is why I'm not transforming. And I'm constantly moving.
He's strong.
Oh, for God. Really? All I want to do is get out of this ditch. All I want to do is get out of this ditch. That would have been a perfect time to fire the one that actually hits the target. Wait for him to go into a melee. How? Oh my God. I'm gonna risk it, because I'm just done. I am done. Come here, Camille. Are you... Hold still. And it almost killed me, but I was just losing my goddamn mind.
I'm coming back now.
Got an accuracy of 8%. Oh, thank God that was it. That was the final mission? That was a bit of a schlep. God, just flying around and not hitting a single shot! Not a one! Not a one! Was that 4 missions? Yeah, but I'm gonna have to bundle... You know what? We'll bundle Rosamia in. That makes sense. They're both Cyber-Newtypes. I haven't had a whole lot... Yeah, because I haven't done Yazan's Wrath, so I'm not even sure if I've run the Gap plant yet.
Rosamia unit launching.
I appreciate the Gap plant. Unlike the Gap Flay, it's capable of atmospheric flight. Not that this game cares to make that distinction. You can fly a Gap Flay in the atmosphere. You can fly a Humbrabee in the atmosphere. That's not supposed to be capable of flying in the atmosphere either. Now, the Bobby, which was based off the Humbrabee from Gundam Seed Destiny, because, of course, everything from Gundam Seed Destiny was ripped off from another Gundam franchise. The Bobby was capable of atmospheric flight. It had big fold-out wings for that very purpose.
You won't get away.
Oh, Camille, hi there. Gotta like the symmetry of the Gap plant.
You won't get away. He's strong.
Oh. I mean, it's got 2 beam rifles, it dual wields its beam sabers. Well, at least I took next to no damage, because that attack is terrible.
Camille, pay attention.
Oh boy, Armoro's here.
What is this power?
Well, at least I'll only have to deal with one named character at a time.
That's nothing. I won't let you bring the sky down.
And that was absurdly easy.
I'm coming back now.
Yeah, Gap plan's pointy, but there are softer edges. Yeah.
I'll
kill anyone who
Oh
wants to
god,
make
it just
stop.
occurred to me. I'm gonna have to use the Psycho Gundam Mark II again. No! God damn it! I set myself up for that one! Oh.
Just sitting here, wrapped in the silence of my cockpit.
I do like that
I'm so
the
glad.
two Bound Dog versions are actually different. It's not just a color thing. The melee is actually different for Gates' version. I mean, the weapons are identical because they were. No, I melee a lot in this game because you should melee a lot in this game. It's 3 times as effective, pretty much, as using your ranged attacks.
You're gonna die.
I mean, that could be viewed as a balancing thing. You have to be able to close the gap to be able to melee, naturally. But it's hard to consider it, like, not being the Japanese cultural thing of just having a real fondness for edged weapons. Even though a beam saber isn't technically an edged weapon. It fulfills the spiritual role. Ow.
My head hurts. Yes, the Zeta-Newtype. And that's when it crushed my mummy, and my daddy, and my baby brother.
What are you saying?
This guy.
You know, I know that theoretically a machine could spin around continuously like that, but you gotta figure that a machine this complex, because a drill bit or something is just a thing that you socket into another thing. And you've got something similar with wheels or other spinning implements, but this thing has legs with complex architecture and power cables. It should not be able to spin freely like that. I mean, this is by far not the only offender. Was it 71 or 91? I can never remember. That one, they were actually spin the beam sabers in hand to deflect attack. Wait, that was just timed? I'm scarcely paying attention to the mission requirements anymore. Go in, blow stuff up, shoot it until it dies. Use the Doom tactics. Oh, now we have gates. Here we go. Here we go. Again.
Hmm? The enemies arrived. They're no match for me.
Rosamia, what happened?
Where are you, brother? Brother?
It's gonna be horrible! Somebody stop her!
Where are you, brother?
Oh, I actually took some head Vulcan damage.
Rosamia, just one more time! Please pick up my
Oh, and of course he avoids it, because none of these attacks ever connect!
try to feed your brother! We'll go for another full ride soon, won't we? No!
I mean, if I stick to the edge of the arena, I could let the Barzams do all the work.
Stop!
Oh, and I swear that, again, a Barzam just knocked him out of my attack cone, which would be so much more effective. But the Barzams are a problem even when we're on the same side.
No, Rosamia, don't make me do this! I'm going to have to shoot you down!
I'm curious why the term used is being shot down. I mean, that's clearly like an aircraft term, but we're in space? What is down in space? I mean, is this Ender's Game rules where, what was it, the enemy base is up? Which is an odd, well, actually no, it's not that odd of a take on it, because when you think about it, you're trying to summit the mountain. The challenge is the mountain, so conquering the enemy's base would be up. It would be the top of the proverbial travel. Or maybe I'm just overthinking it. I don't know, I'm bad at strategy games, actually. That is true. And I have to avoid, or at least I try to avoid, recording like 3x or 5x, because whenever I'm the leader of a vast civilization, apparently I have a tendency to act like a bit of a supervillain. Like Bond-level supervillain. Coming about
We lost an ally.
at the same speed as the damn Titanic. Oh my god, that was going right in. This thing hits nothing. It hits nothing. I'm not taking any damage though. No, it's the standard mobile armor thing. It's the standard mobile armor thing where you're darting around, you basically don't get hit, but you can't deal any damage either because you're just it's a nightmare. Get off of me, Nemo.
We lost an ally.
Nemo.
Take that!
I don't know, back then translations were less accurate than they are now.
I won't let you bring the sky down.
Oh, wait, what? Oh, I hit the button. I wasn't trying to hit the button. Ow! Morph again.
You! You're not getting...
I mean, at this point, the Barzams are probably doing about as much damage as I am. I mean, what does that tell you? The Psycho Gundam Mark II, improvement on a giant mobile suit. And its practical damage per second is the same as a Barzam. Because you can't hit anything. Because it's got two attacks, a scattering beam attack, and an attack using its reflector bits. But the beams travel so slow, and the delay from time the attack is initiated, it's terrible. I hope this is my last mission with her. I don't want to find out that I'm going to have to be, like, in the colony laser or something like that. Let this be it. I could see the backside of these Gundams and not have to deal with them until a special route.
Destroyed? Damn it!
One thing I would like to point out is that I got in my YouTube recommended an Adam Savage of Tested's one-day builds of a Perfect Raid Unleashed RX-78-2 Gundam. You know, the OG Gundam. And he was like a kid in a candy store. Because apparently they can now mold articulated pieces together. Which, he gave a theory for how that would work involving plastics with different thermosets. I just chalk it up to Japanese moon magic.
Destroyed? Damn it!
Be strong. You! Faster!
I do know the Perfect Grade is damn expensive. It's like $300 for a kit. I mean, holy hell.
You!
That was it?
I mean, if we're measuring fandom purely by money sunk, that's like Warhammer levels of, dear God, my bank account.
I'm coming back now.
Oh, thank God, that was it for Rosamia. God, 2 Psycho Gundam Mark IIs in a row, it's probably been less than an hour, and that alone exhausted me. That whole thing. I guess I could do Gates next, but I'm probably not going to stitch 3 character routes together. Probably. So that, and there will be something intervening between them, so that's not going to be a thing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. From the viewer end, at least, it doesn't matter. For me, it's the steady erosion of my sanity. Where is Gates? Jared, Lila, Kakrikon. Oh, way down at the bottom. Where you belong! Dish plate of a character. I mean, here's what I don't understand. This is a who watches the Watchmen type of situation. Because he's a Cyber-Newtype, he presumably has all the same sort of that the rest of them do, and yet they send him to keep a short leash on Rosamia. Now, I get that she's perhaps a little more unstable than the rest of them, but that's basically like asking your big dog to keep an eye on your little dog. Or stranger still, asking the little dog to keep an eye on the big dog.